Welcome back. The Callisto Protocol launched today. I was up very early playing it at midnight, and I played a lot of the game. I haven't finished the game yet, and I never give review scores here on the channel. I always just talk about how a game feels, how it looks, and if you've played games for a long time, you can kind of get a sense of how a game is going to work and the feeling that it conveys to the player. And the first thing they want to talk about, obviously, is the graphics. I mean, the graphics in this game are absolutely incredible. One of the key things, and we all have seen it in the previews, the facial animation on the lead character is almost photorealistic. I mean, there are times when I was playing the game early on in the introduction where you almost get that uncanny valley feeling where it's a movie and then it's a video game and then you're reminding yourself that this is a character model in a game. It is that good. So the graphics are absolutely incredible. A key highlight is the lighting in the game and just the way that smoke and particle effects are used to convey this sense of like a doom and an atmospheric, almost like an oppressive feeling. It's almost like the environment is a character in the game because of that. And that's something that I look for in games. When it's not just about the main character, it's about the environment and how the character and the environment come together while you're playing the game. And I think they do that incredibly well here. And you can see how great this game looks. I mean, everything from the animation to the lip syncing to the smoke effects to the fire effects, everything just comes together incredibly well. Look at this character model. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. This is that sort of next gen feeling I think some people have been waiting for in terms of graphics. Now, what's interesting is right here, when you go up to these events where you're going to slide through things or crawl under things, your character just instantly does it for you. I like that. Unlike in, say, God of War Ragnarok, when Kratos walks up to something he's going to slide through or go under, you have to press the circle button. This is just seamless, and it adds to the cinematic flair of the game. And when you're going from gameplay to a cutscene like this, I mean, there is no cutscene. It's the game engine, so it's so smooth. You sort of just disconnect from the fact that you're playing the game, and then there's a story, and then you're playing the game. I love the way they do that. It works incredibly well. So without giving too much away, essentially you start off in space and you see this security footage of a woman on Europa, which is a moon of Jupiter, and then you crash land on Callisto, which is a dead moon of Jupiter. You're transported to this penal colony. You don't know why you're taken there. You don't know why you're arrested, and essentially something goes wrong. You're thrust out into the prison and you have to explore and survive. Now, this feels like Dead Space, the Dead Space franchise. I mean, it plays almost exactly like Dead Space, except it's got much better graphics, much more atmospheric. However, when it comes to the combat, I know some people have said they don't like how the combat is implemented, but I didn't find it too difficult. You have to get used to this dodge mechanic, and everything is placed on the left stick. So as an enemy comes at you, you have to dodge left or right by pressing left or right on the stick. And instead of pressing left twice, you have to go left, right, to just create this sort of rhythm to the combat. And once you get used to it, it does take a while to get used to it, but it does work well. And you just pull back on the left stick to block. Everything is done with R2, the right trigger, when it comes to swinging an object or shooting a handgun. And there's these really cool combinations where you're hitting and then a button prompt will come up and you can actually tap L2 and R2 at the same time to do a melee, a gunshot, a melee, a gunshot. So it does take a bit of getting used to, but once you get it down, I feel like it's the best possible combination for what they're trying to do in the game and keep you in this sort of cinematic feeling as you're playing it. I do feel that it works very well, and it does feel impactful. When you hit things, you really feel it, and the gun does feel well also when you're using it. Now, there aren't that many DualSense features that I notice right now. One of them that is a key feature for games like this, and I keep saying it to people, when you hear someone talking to you as they're coming over like a headset or something like that, and the voice comes through the little speaker on the DualSense, it absolutely adds to the immersion of a game, and it is done so well in the Callisto Protocol. It is just amazing. And there is some slight haptic feedback. I'm not sure if it's totally implemented or not, but you do feel things in the triggers, and of course the rumble is there. Everything just comes together really well. The combat, I would say, I don't think it's the weakest part of the game. I think it's again, it's very visceral and it adds to the tension. But games like this, I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to hit things, you're going to shoot things, you're going to dodge. So essentially, it's nothing new, but it does work incredibly well. Now, this isn't a survival horror game in the sense of Resident Evil or even the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes that we played, but it is definitely a cinematic, story-driven experience, and it is just like Dead Space. So if you love the Dead Space series, you're absolutely going to love this game. If you like cinematic, story-driven games with amazing graphics and atmosphere and some really solid gameplay. I've seen some of these review scores, and I don't understand modern reviewers. I'm not sure what else people would want in a AAA game like this. It's got all the bells and whistles, all the little check marks that people look for: graphics, sound, atmosphere, story. It's all here. So I would highly recommend this game if you loved games that I talked about throughout this video, and if you're looking for something that just really pulls you in with its story. And yes, these are things that we've done before in games, and yes, it borrows heavily from games that we've played in the past, but what hasn't? What is totally brand new that we're playing? If you've been around for a long time and you've played video games for a long time, there's really nothing brand new that you're experiencing. It's just iterations upon great ideas from the past. And this is one of those games that borrows heavily from games in the past, but does things really well in the present. So I would absolutely recommend this game if you liked what I talked about in this video. If you would, hit the like button, think about subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.